Okay, hello everybody. My name is David Holloway, and this is my individual PV project. I chose to focus on designing an off-grid PV-powered aquaponics farm for a friend of mine down in Malpaisillo, Nicaragua. So the farm's name is Finca Buen Paisillo. It operates under a nonprofit organization named Sheep Not Goats, and it is owned by a couple of expats from Florida named Steve and Sandy Jacoby. This is Steve right here, and this is the crew. So the main produce that this farm grows and sells are plantains, bananas, pitayas, which are dragon fruit, and also tilapia. So insert the aquaponics farm. So the farm has full-time and seasonal employees, and they also provide English lessons. So their main focus is really just to provide jobs, teach people, and just kind of empower the local community. So the reason we're choosing a PV-powered aquaponics farm is because in this area, fish is a high protein food, and it's easy to raise. It's a lot less expensive than beef, and the fish waste, the poop, is free fertilizer for the other crops, and it just has a small physical footprint. The thing is, it requires a lot of energy, the pumping, the irrigation, so this is where the PV system steps in. So this is not a closed loop system because the fish receive water from a well instead of having the the irrigation water recirculated through the crops and back into the fish tanks. So this is where this system sticks out. What justifies this project is that for the community, it's introducing an otherwise hard to attain resource as far as meat, protein goes, and it's also creating better produce that can be sold on the market. Um, and also from the farm's point of view, it's kind of eliminating the dependence on the utility grid, which can be susceptible to blackouts and brownouts pretty regularly. Malpaisillo is it's located right here, it's about 23 miles inland. Um, it has excellent solar insulation. It has good, annual temperature range for utilizing lead acid batteries, and it has approximately 8,000 people living in the town. So here's the design summary. I'm sure everyone's sick of seeing this table, but here it is again. So just kind of glance through that very quickly. Here is the one-line diagram. Here's the PV array going into a breaker panel, from there to the charge controller where it splits off. And in parallel, you have the battery bank as well as the inverter, where it passes through a disconnect box first, DC on the left, AC on the right, and here's the AC loads panel where all of the pumps, lighting, irrigation will all be hooked up to. So the main thing is that the system will cost about $15,000 initially, and over the course of its 25-year lifespan, it'll incur more costs as components will need to be replaced, mainly the battery bank. So after tallying all of that up, over the lifespan of 25 years, it'll cost about $49,500. And at this tariff that the farm operates on, they're spending 32 cents per kilowatt hour. So over the lifespan of the system without PV, they'd be spending about $51,000. So they have a little bit of savings. It's not much, but it's still breaking even. As a few recommendations, they mainly concern the battery bank. A strict, a battery monitoring system is critical to make sure the batteries operate for their entire lifespan. Also, budgeting for replacements is essential because you're going to have to replace them 3 times over the course of 25 years. Also, developing a cost recovery method, or in other words, just a way to resell the batteries. In Nicaragua, it wouldn't be very hard to sell used batteries, especially since these are not going to be completely, wasted. They're not going to be dead. They're just going to be derated to about 60% of their nominal capacity from when they started. So there'll be a market for those. Keeping the batteries in a conditioned space is ideal, but at the very minimum, just keeping the climate consistent around them, whether that be blowing fans on them or just having them properly ventilated. Uh, Security parameters should be taken, to protect the system from theft or tampering, and also just to ensure that your solar components provider, Ikami, in this case located in Managua, you ensure that they have all of the components that they say that are listed on their website. That is a must. So in conclusion, overall, the cost benefit of the system, it'll it'll break even over its lifetime with a little bit of savings, but it'll add value as far as you know decreasing the dependency on the electrical grid and just adding more nutrients to the existing crops. So overall, this system is doable. It's feasible, and it can be modular. You can expand it along with the farming operations as they grow. Most importantly, though, the local community would benefit from having a system like this because it allows you know it allows them to have fresh fish and fresh produce, and also just to be exposed to renewable energies, which I think is important in third world countries. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you all for listening. Have a good night.